2 weeks ago, Rooster Teeth released the RWBY Volume 6 trailer, which gave us a plethora to look forward to once the show started. We got flying people, an invasion of personal space, and a plan so perfect only RWBY could come up with it.
What's the plan, RWBY?
Don't let anyone else die!
But perhaps the biggest takeaway from the trailer was a brief shot of this old woman, and just like that, the fandom started theorizing as to what significance she would pose down the road. Now, at the time of this recording, Chapter 2 of Volume 6 is literally 6 hours away from premiering on the Rooster Teeth site, so hopefully I'm not too late in throwing my own thoughts into the ring before they're deconfirmed. But with nothing more than the intro and the first chapter at my disposal, this video will aim to express my thoughts on who this woman is, what purpose she will serve down the road, and more importantly, what her semblance could possibly be. Now, it is worth noting for those of you who don't know, but at the end of Chapter 1, the credits revealed the old woman's name to be Maria Calavera. That'll be important in a little bit, so make sure you keep that in mind. So upon seeing Maria in the Volume 6 trailer, and again in the first chapter, her two most prominent features are definitely her old age and most notably her high-tech goggles. And these two features primarily bred two schools of thought within the fandom. Maria is a very old and very experienced winter maiden, or she has those things that Miles and Carrie have tiptoed around for the past 2 volumes. What are they called again?
Silver eyes.
Silver eyes. Silver eyes.
Silver eyes.
Silver eyes.
Silver eyes.
Silver-eyed girl.
I'm pretty sure you guys know which camp I'm in.
You have silver eyes.
I believe Maria is a silver-eyed warrior, and that'll be important for how I think her semblance could work. But what I meant to say is I think Maria used to have silver eyes, and here's why I say that.
The girl with the silver eyes.
Yes, we've dealt with their kind before.
Eye for an eye.
It's no surprise at this point, but silver eyes are kind of a big deal in this show. It could be implied that Ozpin recruited Team Stark and appointed Summer as the leader due to her silver eyes, much like he did with RWBY. And as we all know,
The creatures of Grimm, the most fearsome monsters mankind had ever encountered, were afraid of those silver-eyed warriors. It was said that even a single look from one of these fighters could strike a Grimm down.
so it would make sense that if silver-eyed warriors posed a direct threat to Salem and her Grimm, that one of her countermeasures for dealing with them is by hunting and killing their kind, or in Maria's case, extracting their eyes and rendering the silver-eyed prowess unusable.
If I were you, I'd hunt her down, find her, and, well, she took your eye, didn't she? Eye for an eye.
Alright, you explain the lack of eyes, but what does that have to do with her semblance, I hear you typing impatiently? Well, here's how it all comes together. So remember how I mentioned Maria's last name, Calavera? Well, in Spanish, that word translates to skull, but the term is actually most often applied to edible or decorative skulls made of sugar or clay, which are used in the Mexican celebration of Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, a celebration in remembrance for friends and family members who have died. And here's a fun fact. Day of the Dead takes place from October 31st to November 2nd, so at the time of this recording, Day of the Dead ended yesterday.
Coincidence? I think not.
So with Maria Calavera being a former silver-eyed warrior and being a reference to the Day of the Dead, what would you say if her semblance was the ability to talk to or communicate with the deceased? And before anyone starts bringing up talking to Pyrrha or Torchwick, we need to go even deeper with this theory. It wouldn't make sense for Maria to talk to any past soul, so there needs to be some restrictions. What if she could only communicate with the dead that she has a special connection with? Kind of like Raven's portals, but even more exclusive. What if Maria's semblance gave her the ability to communicate with other deceased silver-eyed warriors? And I've seen y'all make the comparisons of her to Katara from The Last Airbender, so let's make it official. What if she was basically the avatar of these silver-eyed warriors? Not necessarily being an incarnation of all those that came before her, but essentially being the bridge, the gap between being able to communicate with those who are alive and the silver-eyed warriors who are dead. I don't know about you, but if that turns out to be true, this could be huge for a few reasons. It's no surprise at this point, but it's very clear that RWBY's eyes are significant to some extent with Ozpin's plans, and have been long overdue for explanation, so it's only natural that someone with more hands-on, or in this case, eyes-on experience with silver eyes would be the one to go about training and mentoring her. But if communicating with the dead is possible, more so with deceased silver-eyed warriors, this could in fact open a dynamic with one of the most anticipated characters of the series, and one of the pillars of RWBY's much-needed development, her mother, Summer Rose.
You're special, RWBY. You're special the same way your mom was.
Now again, none of this is confirmed, and at the time of this recording, it is unclear if what her semblance is. We actually haven't even really gotten any introduction of her in the show until episode 2. I'm not saying that we'll get all of these possibilities during volume 6, but it would be quite the opportunity if Maria does stick around in the future. And another thing to mention is, aside from Salem, Ozpin, and if you want to go that far, the Veil Shopkeeper, Maria appears to be the oldest character of significance to the plot as of volume 6. And to be quite honest, she looks old enough to be any character's grandmother in this show, so I honestly wouldn't be surprised if, in fact, she does have silver eyes, if she's had a run-in with Ozpin or even Summer Rose in the past. And if that run-in is what potentially costed her her eyes. Remember, if the biggest threat that Maria poses as a silver-eyed warrior were her eyes, then getting rid of them just means one less problem for Salem and one less pawn for Ozpin. And at the end of the day, this could ultimately end up spelling trouble for RWBY, who will no doubt be on Salem's radar in the future, especially if she's developing her silver eyes further. So RWBY potentially losing one of or both of her eyes could very well be a possibility by the end of the series. But in the end, that is my short, quick theory on Maria and what I potentially think her semblance is. What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know what you think about the theory or your thoughts on it in the comment section. Also, I'd like to give an extra special shout out to the 1,200 viewers that were present during my RWBY Volume 6 Chapter 1 livestream discussion, where we all came up with this theory together, and an extra special shout out to Miraculous Cora Zone, who presented this question that sparked this entire video. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. What if Maria's semblance is that she can actually talk to the dead? Oh my god, that would be sick. That would be cool as... That would be so cool, man. That would be so cool.